Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Practical PM for Everyone Else. This series focuses on explaining what product management is and should mean to different stakeholders. And why would you want to listen to this explanation? It is because product management is a confusing role for product people as well as everyone else. It has become a cool role over time, so a lot of organizations end up having this role. But if the stakeholders don't have the right expectation and right relationship with the product org, then it is not good for anyone. Product management in such cases does not end up adding value to the organization and it does not end up being helpful to the stakeholders either. The other reason this explanation is important is that many a time it is the non-product people who end up taking product decisions or even hiring and managing the first set of product managers in an organization. This series is intended to help you do that right. And let me clarify that when I talk about product management, I am talking about digital product management, which may be different from product management role as it is used in industries like FMCG, consumer goods, banking, and finance, etc. So if you have come from such background, this distinction is important. The heart of digital product management is, of course, a digital product. In this episode, we are going to talk about product management for founders. Why is an understanding of product management necessary for the founders? It is necessary because, as mentioned earlier, product and product management have become cool. Everyone wants to do it. At the same time, it remains one of the most ill-defined roles in the industry, which makes it easy to literally hire for anything in the name of product management. Startups which are hungry to raise funds and hire get on the bandwagon of creating product teams. Everybody assumes they understand product management. It feels intuitive because everybody has ideas about products. Startups are expected to build great products, but that doesn't quite happen because in all this noise and hyperbole, founders don't often take time to figure out if and why of the product. Most people, including founders and product managers themselves, do not have a very good idea of what product management, what good, effective product management is all about. And hence, hiring, expectation management, people management, and product, all of them do not live up to their expectations and potential. So, there are two things that founders must be super clear on before their startup starts riding this mad bandwagon of product management. Number one, does their idea even need product management? And if yes, what should their product leader or product team be doing? What should you expect from them? So let's start with, does your idea even need product management? Your idea needs product management if you need to own an in-house product. And that is something you should do if and only if your own product is strategically important to your business. What would that mean? The most obvious case would be if the digital product is what essentially brings your revenue. If you are a Slack or a Canva or a Wix, obviously you need to own your product in such cases because that's what you are selling. The other case would be where the digital product may not be what people are buying, but without your digital product, the business model behind delivery of the primary product or service does not work. The most obvious example of this is e-commerce. The actual product people are buying are physical products most of the time. But the whole point of the business is that they are able to buy it online. And without a very good and constantly improving digital product, the business just does not work. Digital product is not being sold and hence not this direct source of revenue. But without it, there is no e-commerce business or revenue. Another example would be Uber or Ola. The service a customer really is paying for and hence the source of revenue is cab service, personal transport if you prefer. But without the digital product, the app and everything else in its background that does the demand supply matching, there is no Uber business. These are the kind of businesses that need product and hence product management. Where product or product management is not needed is when your digital product requirement is standard. It may be absolutely essential to support the business or for delivery of your primary product or service, but it does not create a strategic difference. Practically every business today needs digital products. But the availability of off-the-shelf products for standard requirements is so high that they don't need an in-house product for a lot of these. The most obvious example is that practically every business needs products for accounting and finance or an HR management system. It would be batshit crazy if everyone started creating their own products for each of these when this isn't their core business. Total waste of resources and organizational focus. Sometimes even core business processes are best supported by off-the-shelf products. There are a lot of operational requirements of a business that can be supported by standard ERP, for example. Now, those were very black and white examples. So now let us go into some gray areas to see how you would decide whether you need your in-house product. Consider D2C brands. I see a lot of them focus on getting their e-commerce product built. But a lot of them are not actually in the business of e-commerce. They are in the business of distribution. The majority of their revenue, even if e-commerce driven, comes from Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra and other e-commerce platforms. Their own website is at best one another channel for them. It may be an important channel, so I'm not saying that they shouldn't have their own e-commerce presence. But in the beginning, they might be better off going with an off-the-shelf product like Shopify to set up their e-commerce rather than develop an e-commerce product on their own. Over time, if they are able to adopt a strategy where being able to control their own e-commerce product and experience will bring an advantage that off-the-shelf products cannot provide, then they can build their own product with that very clear objective in mind, or even modify or build on top of an off-the-shelf product. Now, this analysis changes when the situation changes even a bit. What if you are not in the business of selling stuff but of renting out stuff online? Things may change in future, but today that's a completely different game than e-commerce. You will have to own your product to make online renting work. Or if you are in the business of customized products and a certain kind of experience is essential to it, which Shopify features do not provide, then again you have to own your product. Sometimes it may be in the form of an add-on on top of Shopify. Finally, there might be cases where you have specific tech or data requirements. Say two systems you want to use may need integration, or you want one place to analyze business data coming from different sources. You may need to engage specific solution providers for such use cases, but building a product team for them is likely to be an overkill. So, does your idea even need product management? It needs product management if you need to own an in-house product, and you need to own an in-house product only if it makes a strategic difference to your business. Otherwise, don't bother with building product team or hiring product managers. Your focus will be diluted and you will have some very dissatisfied product managers on your payrolls. Now, assuming you need product management, what should your product team be doing? What should be your expectations from them? Should they be building the product day and night, delivering features after features fast and accurately, capturing every feature requirement in glorious details and making sure it gets delivered exactly as asked for, designing the product, testing it for bugs? If your answer to one or more of these is yes, then there is a huge gap in understanding what value the product management really brings to the table. Product managers don't build the product, engineers do. Product team does not design the product, design team does. Capturing feature requirements in detail and getting it delivered? Sure, but if that's the requirement, you are better off hiring a project manager or a business analyst. You don't need a product manager for this. For testing, you need to hire a QA team, not a product manager. The most important thing a product team should do for you is answer why before what and how. Say yours is a startup in the business of renting high value stuff to consumers, and you have done some market research and validation and are confident enough to take a plunge. Now you want a product. You hire a product manager or a product leader and an engineering team and perhaps a designer and some QA folks too. What would a good product manager do? I've often seen that expectation is to list out every possible feature in details and get started on delivering it. Bad product management. A good manager will ask, what is the most important thing for the business right now? And then figure out what should they be doing. Despite market research on the needs, you may still need to validate that people will even consider renting what you want them to rent. You may also need to validate which categories they want to rent in. The very first version of your product may be a simple website just to capture the leads, which are followed up on by a team making calls. It need not even be developed from scratch, but cobbled together with the help of some off the shelf form builders and website builders. One thing that must be done is very good instrumentation so you can get users' data at every step. And then marketing should direct some traffic here. Suppose all this was done and leads were not coming. What then? The immediate reaction of most people is that it is because the product is very scrappy and people need this feature and that feature and whatnot. But a good product manager would not start building one feature after another. They would look at the funnel on the website. How many people are coming to the landing page? How many are spending time viewing your offering? How many try to submit a lead? How many successfully submit a lead? Depending on where the problem is, the next step should be decided. If the traffic itself is low, for example, then the offering as presented in marketing is not working and needs to be revisited before anything on the product is done. If people are lagging and then not submitting the lead, then a good product manager may want to add a pop-up form on the website to show up when people leave and ask them the reason for leaving without proceeding further. You may be surprised to find out that the reason is not one of the thousand features you think are lacking. The reason may simply be that they are looking for categories other than the one displayed on the site, or that some particular pieces of information they were looking for are not there, or that they found prices dissatisfactory. One by one, a good product manager will fix those things, ensure that the funnel improves, and then go to the next step. Once the fundamentals of your offering is validated, then your business needs to scale. And your product management should see that business requirement and realize that obviously generating leads on website and then converting them on phone is not going to scale or be economical. At this point of time, the product manager will get a product built that lets people select their product to rent, pay for them, and set or see their delivery time and probably a few other things to make sure that the experience is complete. They will avoid adding bells and whistles until the basic flow is working well. This is not the time to think of engagement, gamification, discounts, etc. etc. As things go further, the most important problems and their solutions start becoming more nuanced. The product managers will then have to look at acquisition and activation of new users separately from retention of signed up users, for example. They may realize that there are different segments of users that need to be served differently. Over time, you will have your grand set of features, but they will all be validated and the ones that actually make a difference. Not just vanity features because they sound good. So, what are the most important skills of a good product management so that they are able to do their job well? There are three broad categories I can think of. First is structured problem solving, where the idea is not to jump to a cool solution but frame a clear problem statement which helps know how to measure success, break down the problem into smaller parts to identify opportunities, and then solve for the most impactful opportunities. Second is evidence based decision making. When deciding what problem to solve, how to solve it, how to prioritize their initiatives, good product managers follow evidence and not gut feeling, not blindly their past experiences, and not the whims of the founders and CEOs. Third is iterative execution. 50 pages docs with every feature nailed down and then releasing them one by one is not iterative execution. Iterative execution means to have loosely held opinions about what you should be building, but taking the decision of building or of not building based on the business goal and evidence in favor of one initiative against the other at any point of time. Good product managers will also need to be generalists who can understand enough of business operations, tech, design, and everything else that goes into understanding of the problems and conceptualization and delivery of the solutions. A product leader, apart from these things, will also have to be a good organization builder and manager who can ensure that a team of product managers do this right on their own and as a team coherently for the benefit of the business. So overall, a product management is not just a tech role, nor is it just a business role. The people in this role need to straddle both along with many other things. Product management is also not a pure delivery or execution role, although delivery and execution would be part of the job. But the most important thing that product management should bring to the table, as opposed to other pure delivery and execution roles, is the ability to define the right problem statements and solve them systematically in a structured fashion. Product management is also not about eccentric creativity. Creativity can be helpful in this or any other role. But as a talent, what really matters in a product manager is the ability to look for evidence to guide their decisions. That's all. Hope this is helpful. If you are a founder trying to figure out your product strategy, please feel free to get in touch. Thank you so much for watching.